Christopher Wheeling, who, my gosh, is an old friend of all of ours, has been writing poetry since 2001 after a chance meeting with the local poetry community. He says it's fitting since random chance figures greatly in his work. His poetry varies from serious to smartass. He also enjoys photography and has been the official photographer calling all poets since 2014. And he thanks you all for coming here on this cold night. This is a treat. I said this about Chris once before. A very interesting style, the compactness of his style, the way haiku can be so deliciously concise and it evokes all the additional thoughts and emotions. Chris has this impact of a longer form. I really enjoy his work. Without further ado, Christopher Wheeling, our featured poet.
Thank you, Hayden. No, hold on. We're experiencing technical difficulties. Okay, thank you, Hayden. Very nice introduction. Speaking so glowingly of some maniac like myself. I went digging up some of my older work for this feature because I felt like it would be a nice thing to do every now and then, a kind of greatest hits moment. I always used to open my featured readings with this one poem. It's titled The Poem. The poem is conceived by sperm of inspiration and egg of awareness, external perception feeding the growth of creation. The poem slouches across the cerebral cortex in gestation, slime trails left behind in the synapses, its form amorphous with application of memory. The poem leaks down the sinus cavity and is breathed upon paper with the weight of worlds impacted. The poem is self-aware. The poem propagates on pressed pine pulp. The poem solidifies its wingspan across the printed page. The poem kills the poet and rolls him into a nameless grave as it makes its claim for immortality. One of the things I was big on for a while was writing poems based on dreams. Right? Bizarre dreams. Normally you listen to people talk about their dreams, it's like, break out the pillow and the blanket. You're going to be dreaming soon too. But I used to have some interesting stuff, and I just happened to be thinking of this one. Flatworm. I slipped on Escher and dreamed of planarians, hitching a ride alongside a two-dimensional Chinese dragon on the back of a whale-sized crustacean housed in a turtle-like shell. Barnacles and seaweed and coral provided ample grasps to hold on to the back of this leviathan. Intense propulsion provided by a swish of its massive whale-like tail and the scramble of 6 great legs as of a monstrous crab. In the lab was the girl with the aquarium chest. No lungs, no breasts. She had fish swimming in her plastic ribcage. She went through an airlock and joined us for a ride. Long black hair entwined in seaweed. I was the flatworm. A good friend of mine quoted that one time. I wasn't there, but he was standing in the mirror looking at his, he said, I was the flatworm. It's nice to know you inspire people. If tintypes could sing, if tintypes could talk, if tintypes could sing their rusted surface, recollection of eras frozen, alive forever in their ferrous patina. Dancers continue dancing in metal sepia, music conjured from lost iron ether, called from space, slow and distorted, echo through the ages. only partly removed from truth, beauty corroded along the edges. This one was a favorite of Adriana's when she was still in the area. The Traveler. He wandered through canyons cracked into the dry earth, far below his cliffs and paths. Streams gleamed with the noon sun. He had no guide, so beseeched help from the robed elders in the canyons. Gifted unto the Traveler a giant spherical compass, which he carried, not unlike Atlas, held the world. But it was not a compass, for these tricksters had truly given a serpent contained in a glass orb. So the Traveler continued his journey, guided by the flick of a forked tongue from one who knew how to wind across desert sands. Now this one is dedicated to the memory of Raoul Maldonado, one of our, it wasn't really one of Hudson Valley's poets. He was farther down in the Hudson Valley, around the Yonkers area, I believe. Right, Rob?
Yes.
Thank you.
White Plains of Yonkers.
White Plains, Yonkers, yeah, Raoul. Standing. He's been gone for over a month, yet his doppelganger was spotted on the jaywalk, Route 302. His shoes pointing away from the sit-go, walks the lotto shuffle, hopes for a change of luck. He was as I knew him, not the worn chassis wasted from chemo, empty-handed he shields his eyes, not from low-beam sweep, no eyes, I can't be sure, jolted by this unexpected ghost. Otherwise, I would surely stop, say, my friend, it has been years. Instead, accelerated. His graying remains of high and tight, given the 45-mile-per-hour blur. His gray shirt and red shorts blur to black. In my rush, I never looked down to see whether or not his shoes matched. He was known for wearing sneakers with two different colors, those red and blue. Raoul. I am a poet. Music might not build you a house or give you your loved ones back, but it makes you feel better. Sarah Akel, piano student, age 15. The Last Crow in Gaza. Lift your one wing and spill your forgotten song across discordant land and shattered homes. Concert grand grounded in concrete dust. Careful hand revives your call. Youthful hand teases the maestro free. Fly your keys their small comfort and let music grow from ruin. Titans. These islands made when the Titans fell into the sea and stone became their blood, their flesh. Upturned hands opened to the heavens, cup now towns, towers on fingertips. Their seaports descend, wrists cracked over millennia where wave meets shore. The people whisper their nights for fear of waking the giants, but fear for naught. The Titans are long dead, and the gods will never forgive them. Sometimes they are strange, and they come from strange places. 12 cameras. Impact crater's edge, footprints that remain. 12 Hasselblads left as sacrifice to Artemis. Film undeveloped, the most extreme case of camera left unattended with half roll, unused, as if Pulitzer-worthy shots were waiting to hatch. Gravity, though lower here, still holds them in dust's embrace, holds them to where they landed, shudders releasing with the tides. This one is going to be published along with the one following it. Poem Skill Poetry Project. Did I get the name right, Robert? I don't know. You sent me the email. I sent them a couple of poems.
Voices from here.
Voices from here. Thank you. Will-o-wisps. A firefly signals Morse code through carriage house window. It tells me of the storm's drops making mandalas on the river. Come, see this art yourself. We can light your way downhill to the water's edge and dance in the rippled mirrors for your delight. But the hour is late. My spark fades, and I am not sure of my footing. Ariadne's gift. The maze is of our own making, the minotaur as well, and the twine to find our way held in the small of your bare back. I have not forgotten, and carry the sword you concealed in this labyrinth. Guide me, for the only rope I wish to follow is the braid that is draped over your shoulder. All of this is our creation, you, me, the maze, and all the monsters between us, all crafted one and the same. We made ourselves, we made the maze, and cutting the twine may seem cruel now, but time will reveal the gift. We must find our own way home. Okay, some photographers out there like to go into abandoned buildings and take photographs of all the stuff that's decaying, falling apart, you know. I mean, legally it's trespassing, but they call it urban exploration, or for short, urbex. Urbex. Liquid calcium leak from the ceiling swallows copper keys molded over in green. Rotten roof drools floor by floor, the boards under your feet groan with decades worth of abandonment. Memories reside in black mold, unseen by lens. They know you are here. They are old and glad for your company. Welcome home. Another one on the same theme. Landing the wheelchair. Closet off the landing between second and third wheelchair glows in shadow. Fabric thin as nerves, dust and filth, debris litters the seat. The wheels might expect to turn, the 100-year struggle up or perhaps down these stairs. Debris litters the landing, and it is time for the steps to at last descend.
Here, here.
This one is by request. Mr. Milby made a request. Music room. The roll has seen better days. Perforated scroll, a code in which only the piano is literate, translated to warbled amusement for peeled wallpaper. In the corner, its merry jaunt, unnoticed by the sunlit gauze of archaic curtain. The morning beams reveal patches of finish that remain on the floorboards. Only the light is dancing. Robert also requested this one. And it's good because sometimes I don't know what I want to read. Some people say, oh, hey, read that one. Like, art, great, thank you. Yeah. Making my set list for me. The Inkwell. The scribe's robes cascade about the stool before his slanted desk, candle fresh lit. Amber glow, landscape outside his window, blue flash moments back to darkness. He dips his quill in the glass inkwell, the clear fluid drawn, opens the tome to the last page and places the nib to the lowest curve at the end of finis. Delicate strokes, he traces up and back again from right to left. The black letters lift into the pen. He dips the quill, the ink swirls, a thundercloud now bottled. Returns nib to page, right to left, pauses only long enough to sip his tea. Page after page, freed of ink, landscape outside flashes blue. Somewhere, a table by a sunlit window, broken glass panes leak from the floor back to their frames, hands find hands, and backwalk out of the room. At the title page, shadowed in view of the spent candle, he draws away the title, then, with a flourish, his signature lifted. The Inkwell has become a black jewel. He lays down the quill, snuffs the candle. A long-haired cat nuzzles his ankles as he retires for the evening. This one's always a crowd favorite. The skull on my desk. It's not really fair, my friend. This conversation is always one way. I want to listen. You wish to speak. Oh, wow. He moves so fast. I was not expecting to be moving this fast. Do I want to go with this notebook or do I want to go with another notebook? All right, we'll do this one. Dodge and burn. My sanity held hostage to this day, still I refuse to pay ransom. I shall reside in the darkroom, prints off the same film, the same photograph, each in turn torn to black and white bits. Try again. Dodge here, burn there, for the perfect print is only waiting to be developed. The revolution will come when it is freed from the paper. Don't mind me just filling time. Cortez at Veracruz. Pop the trunk on the highway and let fly birds that were your shirts, your clothes, your yellowed love letters. Let them fly, give them to the highway. Your pretty poems and unfinished stories, your precious vanities, leave them scattered. Like Cortez at Veracruz, you must leave behind, leave burning by the wayside, all that brought you here. The view from the back seat of an unmarked helicopter. You don't see the matte black paint or the radar-absorbing fibers underneath. You don't see the concealed 20mm cannons, the advanced tracking system missiles capable of locking onto infrared, shape, face. You don't see the multi-spectrum visual system with eye-tracking targeting integrated into the pilot's helmet, or the light-bending camouflage that makes the helicopter appear to be in several places at once, or not there at all. You don't see the rotors and the engine and the stealth drive unit that masks its thud-wump sound to an unworldly whisper. You don't see the tinted windows from the back seat of an unmarked helicopter. You only think how this technology is the early stages of development of the next generation of soccer mom minivan. For now, you can only marvel at how comfortable the 12-way adjustable bucket seat is and how beautiful the view is from behind your tinted light-bending window in the back seat of an unmarked helicopter. Remember that part in the bio varies from serious to serious? Was that?
When did you write the helicopter?
Oh, geez, when did I write that? Oh, that was 2011. I usually don't read it because it's. I usually don't read it because it's sometimes too much wise ass, you know.
You've been a few wise ass, but at least you're a pretty wise ass.
Ah.
Uh-oh.
Sometimes I have these moments of absurdity, these crazy ideas. I don't know where they come from, but sink. He's been washing that spatula for 30 minutes, scrubbing over and over the metal to a sheen bright as an open wound. Hands in the sink, suds long since extinct, still he rubs the cloth against stainless steel. He's been washing that spatula for 3 days, still standing where he was when soap bubbles were mountains on Mars and the water warm, stained red. I always go too fast. Lost satellites. There were no recordings to speak of. There was no speech to record. I'm waiting on the space probe in stereo to give us a signal, and all I get is reruns from the numbers stations. We've all taken to gambling in our old age. The numbers endlessly repeat the same message, the same code, an unclear message, the same code over and over, endless repetition, clarity endlessly elusive. My thoughts still waiting on a signal from the off side of the sun, my speech lost somewhere in between, unrecorded. This one was published, way back in the fantastic bygone days of the Way Beyond a Review. Did Rob leave the room? He was one of the, he was one of the editors on that, man. I'm not waiting for him, he's heard it a million times. The Voice in the Reservoir. Walking a road along a reservoir, a brilliant sun blasting an afternoon haze of spring air. The voice was strong and masculine and came from somewhere on the opposing shore or perhaps from the air. The sound threw the lakes into explosive spume and wave, shock on water tension into a massive spray. I ran, for fear rules when facing the unknown, down the road, along the stand of freshly green trees. At the intersection, I stopped, not for the sign, but because I wanted to listen. It was then I realized this was not some beast of the sea, some giant or titan intent on making a meal of my bones. It was the voice of a great spirit or a god, so I stopped and turned towards his advice. Upon awakening, his speech washed out, turned gibberish, and that is what leaves me frightened now. We'll do another memorial one here. Ishmael. Ishmael alone tells me this tale. Through yellow eyes, he looks through me. Someday you have to stop licking your wounds. Stands before me on Tinker Street, his waxed skin glazed, left too long to heat, burnt in the Vietnam sun. Someday you have to stop licking your wounds. On the sidewalk, our conversation begun as he pointed to the funeral home and asked, "Brother, who has passed?" Now this one has a special place in my memory, as I happened to pull it out one day and a friend of mine picked up his guitar and did this nice acoustic thing, and it was pretty intense. It's probably also one of my longer poems. I haven't read it in a while, too. Jeez, when the heck did I write this thing? God, it's a moldy oldie. Anesthetics. There is nothing left to feel. The strings that have held up my hands have snapped. Hands held to the stars fall to my sides. The stars hide behind the glass shell shield of transparency. The conquering dust breeds all over my body. The dust takes a life on the wing when I breathe. It settles in slowly blackening valleys at the base of my lungs. The ancient voices ringing out of the depths of memory merge with the spots that needle my vision, quaking perception when I stare. Paper held in a leather jacket cannot entice me. The ideal of beauty cannot entice me. 9 muses cannot entice me. Bowls and platters are filled with dust. There is nothing left to feel. I slap my hand when I catch myself stealing someone else's dreams. Notations I made to keep from forgetting were smeared when written. Nothing better than fragile consciousness can be afforded. Reversal of perception, flesh rendered in gray, a sun inverted, the sky seems ashen night. The mortal frame is unraveling with the sweater that it wears, threads of existence that escape into the ether, negation of form, threads that lose their weave, the weaver cannot be seen. The pulsing impact of sound upon this mortal coil, vibration that disrupts the liquid universe I drift in, liquid universe I drown in. There is nothing left to feel. Concussive pulse of vibration shatter the shell, glass shards mimic falling stars, rain that unweaves the form, rain that stirs the dust, rain that unweaves the form, there is nothing left to feel. The taste of fragments is sharp, biting back into the deep blue of memory's core, and scratchings of mere internal anarchy, unarmed anarchy that is settling without cause. All civilization collapsing in the rip of the cloth, threads unravel, flags are cast, loose fabric into the wind, bright marble columns and polished glass, stained glass and candles break down into passing morsels, paper cities gray disintegrate in the rain of broken glass, paint stripping itself off houses before the timbers dissolve, the living frames come undone with their suits, lovers embrace and splinter under the sky. Remains of those erased from memory are erased from the material. Gray stone melts into gray fog. Trees and beasts degrade at the helix. Veins on leaves retreat. Leaves crumple and shrink. Trunks descend into shadowing earth. The beating of hooves ceases. Birdsong silenced as the beaks unravel. Negation of form. Organics rendered into abstracts of thin strings. Ink on the page. Letters scatter and fade. The page scatters into shreds, there is nothing left to feel. Refraction of the setting sun on the glass, the inverted sun. In my drunkenness, I threw the bottle at the sky and threw the constellations into disarray. The Ouroboros has swallowed the fire and cannot find its tail, cannot find its way. Rain that unweaves, there is nothing left to feel. The curtain that is the sky unwinds and the sun sets. The stars reversed come down with the broken glass rain. Sound itself becomes still, memory evaporates into the fog of a fading world, nothing left, nothing left. I unravel with the bed sheets, slowly unwinding their unique pattern. My pulsing eyes fade into the lost weave. There is nothing left to feel. Might as well do this one. It's the last one, I swear.
No, it's not. You've got 3 more.
I've got 3 more, the man says. It's got to throw me off like that. Yeah, you really got to throw me off like that. Dad, Hayden, what are you doing? Okay, yeah. Yeah, you know, I'm doing the cards. Yeah. This is based on a photograph I took. Grows no moss. Eternal I endure like the inferno gates, but I ask you abandon nothing at the edge of my field. I will stand, mourn my missing arm in silence, one cloven hoof crossed on the other, and wait as you wade into and return again from the tall grass and wild flowers behind my back, the field I am forbidden to see, for I cannot turn my head. Wistful views the echo chamber. Occasionally, a stranger tries the door. Our once inviting home without glow, they walk on. Windows frame lifelessness, our sound box remains silent. We move and mourn across the street, dissidents hoping for a revival. But the happy end to that one is that we did have a revival, and you're living it right here, right now. Okay, this one is the last one. Ergo sum, with apologies. I think, therefore, I wish I didn't. Thank you very much.